other game. It's just the Koreans just crushing our dreams.
So we're going to go right into game number 1, NookSTYLE versus EdwardElric. And we can see that NookSTYLE has his Shaman, and Edward has his Discard Zoo. So we didn't actually get to see what classes they've banned yet, but we will definitely see them later.
Yeah, for sure. That Soulfire is actually pretty good to have in your opening hand because you can get rid of things like the Totem Golem, which are so hard to chew through in early stage of the game.
Okay, so we have just been told that they both banned Warrior. I was right.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I think, the only option here.
Yeah.
Nice little start with the Tunnel Trog.
Exactly, because like NookSTYLE did not have the coin, so it's not like he could have like coined Totem Golem. So Trog on turn 1 is great.
Yeah. I mean, the Zoo decks these days have so many 1-drops. You're pretty much guaranteed to have one in your opening hand, even before you mulligan.
Well, the Flame Imp does really nicely. It contests well with the Tunnel Trog. And EdwardElric is actually going to go ahead and coin out
Looks like the Voidwalker.
Yep, to make sure that, to protect his Flame Imp in case of a Rockbiter.
That's exactly right. And it might pay off here, but with that Flame Tongue possibility, he might be able to chew through that. But then again, the Flame Imp will take care of that, so he does need to take that into consideration.
I think it's still worth putting down, you know? Getting rid of this. I mean, it doesn't kill your Trog, so... And there's still 2 threats on the board versus that 1 Flame Imp.
Yeah. Yeah, the opportunity to grow the Trog in the future as well. Now that it's probably going to stay alive. I mean, unless Edward decides to use his Soulfire, but I really doubt that.
Yeah, EdwardElric has 1 cards for days.
Yeah, pretty much. Just, I think like something like the Zoos these days have like half of their cards, if not just slightly less, half of their cards in their deck are 1-drops.
That's true. There's a lot of 1-drops in Discard Zoo. So NookSTYLE is actually thinking about Lightning Storming this because it's a great board to Lightning Storm.
Yeah, a lot
but
of
then
value.
it means he can't put down his Flame Wreath Faceless on turn 4, which it's fine. It's a good trade-off for taking away Edward's whole board.
Yeah, he's just going to go for it. Because, I mean, like, next turn is turn 3. If an Imp Gang Boss gets thrown out, like, you don't want to have that Lightning Storm in your hand, like, kind of stuck.
And that's not really the best turn for EdwardElric, but at least he can put down the Possessed Villager to contest nicely with the Trog. How do you find this matchup for you, Aggro Shaman versus the Zoo?
Well, if the Shaman gets nice value out of their AoE spells, like Nook just did, it does tend to swing in their favor. But
yeah, I totally agree. I feel like with people adding in Maelstrom Portal and Lightning Storm, I feel like Aggro Shaman is better. Does really well against Zoo now.
Yeah, it
to
definitely has the potential. Not the greatest draw there.
Yeah, he's actually thinking about Soul Firing now. Soul Fire the other Trog. And he's gonna just tap here, yeah. Oh, that's got the silverware Golem. But too bad he couldn't discard that, or it wasn't in his hand earlier.
Yeah, and he's already down to 17 health, and the Flame Wreath Faceless gets thrown out. That's 7 damage per swing, and without any imminent taunts ready to go for Edward, he's looking in a little bit of trouble here.
Yeah, so he's kind of realized that I can't deal with this.
No.
Yeah, he didn't had a great start, but then because of that clear, it was just disastrous for him.
Perfect timing for NookSTYLE there, and looks like he takes a 1-0 lead over the Australian challenger.
So I think usually he's just gonna stick to his the deck that he would just use.
I mean, it's a lot of times people tend, like, the reason behind why people do that in tournaments is that they want to hide their deck information. But because the deck lists have been made public, I don't know if that is really on his mind. And he can always switch around if he wants to, if he has an idea of maybe what Nook is going to play next. Because a lot of times, as you said, like, a lot of people do assume that the losing player sticks with their deck. So you can kind of mind game your opponent and, you know, bait them into playing something something that's not good against one of your other decks, and you play that,
Right.
and maybe you can counter it. But I mean,
And-
looking at the rest of the decks that Nook is playing, Druid and Warlock, like I don't think either of the decks have a particularly bad matchup.
Right. I do really want to see EdwardElric's Tempo Mage already.
Yeah, yeah. It's actually super fun to play. The Babbling Books are just really cool to play on turn 1. I keep getting Pyroblasts, though, on turn 1, and I just have them in my hand for a good 9 turns. They do come in handy, though, to finish your opponent, but I was kind of
actually
hoping for
doesn't
something
have-
cheaper.
He actually doesn't even run the Firelands Portal.
No,
in
no,
his
he
Tempo
doesn't.
Mage,
Yeah.
which is a great card, though, for Tempo Mage.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got a different strategy.
Yeah, his curve is super low. I think he just wants to finish the game, like, super, super quick.
Yeah, I mean, that's just like a big... Tempo Mage has like Babbling Book. That's like a go-to. Some people use Babbling Book. Some people don't. Some people use Firelands Portal. Some people don't. Some people like the Tome.
The Kabbalist Tome, yeah, it's great. I mean, 3 mage spells is guaranteed to be good. And a lot of times you have the Sorcerer's Apprentice ready to go, so all those spells are much cheaper.
Yeah, Roof Trellin is actually a fan of the Tome.
Yeah?
Like we saw him play that in the prelims. But Sottle was actually saying like he actually hates Tome. Because it's like, why? It's like you kind of like waste the whole turn just like drawing like an extra 3.
Sure, yeah. And it's also a little bit unpredictable what you get. Sometimes you get just like a Frost Nova, a Spellbender, and something else, and then you're kind of like, I don't really want these. Like, I wish I hadn't spent that 5 mana.
It's really expensive, right?
Yeah,
for 3 spells. I mean, it's a good value. I mean, like if you and your opponent are top decking, and then you have Tome, it's great.
Yeah, for sure. I think also, like, one thing about the unpredictability, it kind of sucks for the person getting the cards, but it's really confusing for your opponent, because they have no idea what those cards could be. So usually, you know, especially when you know your opponent's deck list, you can play around your opponent's threats, your opponent's removal, but when they suddenly have 3 extra cards that you don't know what they are, like, you just have a really hard time playing around them.
And the secrets, especially when Yogg puts up, like, a ton of secrets. You're like, how do I play around this?
Yeah, your opponent just has, like, a Paladin secret, a Hunter secret, and a Mage secret, and you're like, what? How do I play around all of this? Because you have to just think through all the secrets from all 3 classes. It's a big puzzle to solve.
Yeah, what do you think about Yogg? Do you hate him? Do you love him?
It's love and hate for me. Like if I'm playing it and he does good things for me, I'm like, yes, I love Yogg. I hope he never like gets removed from the game. And then when my opponent uses it against me and I lose, I'm like, this card needs to get removed.
Game number 2, and this time we're gonna see Zoo versus Zoo. NookSTYLE's normal Zoo against Edward's discard Zoo. So yeah, EdwardElric decided to stick with his discard Zoo.
Yep. And as you can see, the 1-drops are scattered all amongst these hands.
Right, and I find that this match is going to be very interesting. Like, which Zoo will take it?
Yeah, it's going to be the clash of the classic versus the newer generation.
What do you think? Do you think that's called discard Zoo or discard lock?
Discard Zoolock.
Because I feel like Zoo fills the board, right?
Yeah.
And then a discard Zoo, does it really fill the board?
I mean, like, if you look at the Silverware Golem, you discard him, and then he floods the board.
Right, that's actually true. But then there's no ritual, right?
Yeah, true.
The light protects me.
Double Argent Squire,
Oh,
turn 1.
Yeah, they're so hard to get rid of. It's
It's
quite
dirty.
annoying. It's like you almost want to throw out the Voidwalker, but then you're like playing off curve as well.
Right. But yeah, he doesn't know that NookSTYLE actually has the Dire Wolf, which could help a lot.
That's gonna hurt.
Oh, 2 Dire Wolves now. Yeah, so he's just gonna use most likely just gonna use the Dire Wolf here, and one of his squires are actually gonna die.
Yeah, nice foresight there by Elric to get rid of one of the divine shields, just because Zoos have so many things to buff.
Yeah, and sometimes with Hearthstone, it's not about playing on curve. Sometimes it's just getting value out of your cards.
Yeah, when I was like first learning the game, my friends were always like, just play on curve, man, and you'll do well. Just do it. Just stick to the curve. And then later on, I figured out you have to play around your opponent's stuff as well. I'm like, oh, this game's so confusing.
Right.
But I'm getting the hang of it.
I remember when people used to play Arcane Missiles on turn 1 as, as mage. Like, that's the funniest.
Yeah, just get that 3 damage into your face.
I did it. 3 damage, turn 1. So NookSTYLE is does he really want to hit into this?
I mean,
don't
just
think he-
thinking, what can Edward really do to get rid of that? To punish him for not swinging in with that?
Oh, okay, I see now. He's thinking about his turn ahead. So if he trades in his Argent Squire right now, he can Dark Iron Dwarf his Imp Gang
Oh,
boss
yeah.
and then trade into the
Mm-hmm.
Councilman later.
But if he draws another 2-drop,
But then I guess it's kind of obvious, right? If he did
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
it's like, okay, my opponent knows what I have.
right?
The Dark Peddler.
Just gonna see what he can get here.
It's always like, you know when you have the option to tap or Dark Peddler? Normally you see people use the Dark Peddler first, just
Yeah.
to see what they get.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, and he actually got the trade into the Imp Gang boss before the Imp Gang boss could take out the Councilman. It's ruined NookSTYLE's plan.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, sorry.
It's
The
okay.
Councilman is definitely going to get removed here. He really does not want to let that live. Although, that wolf is looking like a pretty juicy target as well now.
Actually, he's thinking about, power overwhelming
Okay.
and killing the, and putting his possessed villager down. And he has to take out this wolf right now. This makes him have a board. Versus the, and Edward is just left with the 1 minion right now. Ooh, actually, this is great.
Yep.
He can now Soulfire something and hope to get the Silverware Golem. Is he gonna do it? Do the
Whoa.
wolf. Hit the wolf.
NookSTYLE's looked a little disappointed there. Oh,
Oh, because he got rid of the power overwhelming. Oh no. Well, okay, well at least his peddler trades nicely with the possessed villager.
yeah, and because of the imp, you know, he gets to draw a card. When he discards, it's definitely worth it.
So here, like I was saying earlier, with the Forbidden Ritual, it's going to be hard for the discard zoo to deal with all these tiny little 1/1 tokens. And NookSTYLE's actually preparing for the Sea Giant. I
Oh
feel like.
yeah, he draws that on off the top there. Whoa.
Ooh, this is great. He can actually put out his whole board. Oh, and NookSTYLE doesn't like the look of that. See, the discard zoo can do dirty things.
Yeah, that synergy it feels pretty dirty. NookSTYLE's just really not looking happy there in his player camera. Well, Edward looking pretty content there. He's like, yeah, I got this. Come on.
He can play as Sea Giant, or he's going to drop down. But yeah, you saw that EdwardElric he rather trade than deal 2 damage to the face. He just wants to get rid of NookSTYLE's board, and I'm sure Edward knows that he runs a Sea Giant.
When you have the numbers advantage on board, you just constantly want to be trading. And now NookSTYLE's board is it's super tall in that 1 minion, but the problem when you have 1 big minion against, you know, a widespread board like Elric's, it's just you can only swing once with the 8/8, so it feels bad when you swing with the 8/8 to kill a 1/3 that's down to 2 health. You're like, ah.
Yeah, this is looking really good for EdwardElric. I am not sure how NookSTYLE can even come back from this. It's just really hard. Well, now Edward has to deal with the Sea Giant. Because the taunt was there earlier, but now that the taunt is down, NookSTYLE can deal 8 damage to Edward's face. But how much damage does Edward have right now on the board?
It's got 11.
11.
He can bring that up to 12 with the Defender of Argus.
I think he'd still tap here and see what he could get. Or actually, he's thinking about dealing with these councilmans right now before they get any bigger. And have set another 2 taunts. Oh, this Sea Giant is gonna have a hard time getting through this.
Yeah.
I don't even think he trades into the Sea Giant. He has to just ignore it at this point.
Yeah, just prevent the councilmans from growing, and then, you know, these mini taunts just can keep blocking that Sea Giant.
It's looking very, very bad for NookSTYLE. What could save him? Another ritual possibly could help,
Yeah, it might be a little too late though, because next turn the damage is
That's
gonna be
true.
pretty big.
I think that's gonna be it.
Knife Juggler, unfortunately, not gonna be enough here.
Yeah, it's actually Edward has lethal.
Yeah, there we go, and looks like the series is tied up 1-1 here.
It's pretty close. Could go any direction. Edward looking pretty satisfied with that game.
Yeah.
So guys, discard Zoo has a chance against normal Zoo.
Yeah, it does for sure. Especially when you get those big discard synergies happening. Like the board just fills up so quick, and you're drawing all those cards as well, so you don't have to be tapping to refill your hand.
I feel like if the discard Zoo gets the Silverware Golem, like to get discarded,
Yeah.
it's like, I think they're probably gonna win.
Yeah, pretty
Especially when they get both of their Silverware Golems discarded.
much.
It's pretty disgusting.
Off like a Doom Guard, that's just ultimate synergy. Like,
Yeah,
yes.
it's the worst. Too much.
I mean, a lot of times you just never play the Silverware Golem unless you have no other choice, or unless
Right.
you know you're gonna discard it. So there's a pretty high percentage chance that you're gonna end up discarding it. You know.
Oh, I've had I remember the first couple of times I tried discard Zoo, I had really bad luck with it, and I never got to discard my Silverware Golem. But eventually, yeah, I got to.
Yeah, as you get used to the play style and stuff.
And it's a great feeling. Yeah, I discarded my Silverware Golem.
Anything that's free feels great.
Free. So what do you think we're gonna see coming up next?
So NookSTYLE was on his Warlock. He does have his Druid left, but he's probably going to stick with the deck that he's already played with. Edward, on the other hand, has the Mage and his Shaman. Shaman is the aggro variant, while his Mage is a tempo deck.
And you say
Against Warlock.
Shaman, right? Not Shaman.
Shaman. But
So
no,
Australians
it's
do not.
Shaman, no?
Yeah,
Like,
Australians do not say Shaman.
like, is there a nationality that specifically says Shaman?
Yeah, UK people.
In the UK? Really? That's strange.
Yeah, Twitch chat gonna give. Twitch chat loves to give people who say Shaman a hard time.
Yeah, because it's wrong.
Actually, technically, both are correct.
Yeah.
It's just
I mean,
accents.
The English are the guys who invented English, so technically they're right, but strength in numbers, guys.
All right. So, what are you looking forward to? What players do you think are going to do well in this tournament?
Oh, I'm cheering on my boy Edward here.
Actually, yeah, he's one
Yeah.
of your. We had this little draft with all the casters here, and you picked Edward. Who was your other one?
I picked the Taiwanese player whose name I don't know how to pronounce because it's all in Chinese characters. But I looked at his decks, I was like, yeah, this guy looks interesting.
Solid decks, good
Yeah,
lineup.
Came all the way from Taiwan, so must be feeling pretty confident, you know?
I drafted Waning Moon and Gigi Leo.
Right.
I was like, come on. Because TJ picked Neilio, so I couldn't pick him.
Oh.
And I think TJ's other pick was Aaron.
Yep.
I forgot D2's picks.
We'll have to ask him later.
Yeah. Probably I don't know, maybe it's not. No, he picked 2 Taiwan players,
Oh, okay.
if I remember correctly.
Putting his faith in the Taiwanese players here.
Game number 3 is ready, and yes, EdwardElric's weird tempo mage that
Yeah.
has the Loot Hoarder and the Barnes.
I mean, having casted a bunch of Elric in the past, he does tend to run these standard decks with a slight twist on them, like little things that he just likes to throw in there. To sometimes it's to throw off his opponent. Sometimes he legitimately thinks it's just better than what other people are running, but he always makes it work. That's the thing that counts, you know.
And NookSTYLE with his Token Druid. What do you think about his Token Druid? Any good cards like that you've noticed in there?
Well, I mean, he's obviously got the Arcane Giants in their new edition with this new expansion. Super useful card in this deck archetype because you're playing so many spells. A lot of times you're playing like 1, 2, 3 mana, 8/8. It feels pretty good.
Right.
It's just like a better Sea Giant.
I agree. I love the Arcane Giants. Sometimes I even see them in Tempo Mage. Sometimes.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah, it could be possible. Ooh,
Ooh, the
Babbling.
Babbling Book. It's always interesting to see what spell are you going to get out of the Babbling Book.
Yeah. Looks like he's just going to stick to the curve here. Throw out that Loot Hoarder.
It was great. NookSTYLE picked up his Wild Growth, which Druids love on their turn 2.
Yeah, and the
And-
Mire Keeper. The ramp is real right now.
Right, that's the perfect start for a Druid.
Yeah.
And he can actually, like, even Emperor Thorson.
Ooh. That's pretty... It's supposed to be his 3 mana turn. He's already doubled
probably
the mana.
He's probably going to drop the Sorcerers, drop the... draw with the Arcane Intellect, and then possibly even put up the Mirror Image.
Sees what he gets from the Loot Hoarder first here.
That's true. I like that play.
Okay.
Yep, and so he chooses not to put down the... Oh, okay. Mirror Image is out. Grow the Mana Worm.
Yeah, and it just puts two small taunt bodies in between his opponent's attacks. Something like Feral Rage, you know, I mean, he could have used that.
Right, and as a Druid, you don't like to keep up the mana... keep the Mana Worm and the Sorcerer's Apprentice on the board. He's actually thinking to draw 1 with Wrath and swipe the Mana Worm. That's a possible thing to do here. Yeah.
That's a lot of like premium removal that you're spending on just 2 minions.
Or just drop the, I guess, or drop the Emperor Thorson and just deal with it later after all the spells are cheap. I
really like EdwardElric's position right now because he's got a nice board presence and then he's got so much cycle in his hand. Right. But also, I mean, Discover, I suppose, but he also has some cycle with the Arcane Intellect.
So yeah, like I said earlier, he just doesn't want to leave up the Sorcerer's Apprentice and the Mana Worm. We know how big a Mana Worm could grow, and with that many, like with the Sorcerer's Apprentice up, it's gonna make the spells just too cheap.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why this Mage deck is called Tempo Mage. You know, if you let it get even slightly ahead, just races ahead, and just next thing you know, you have a 8/3 Mana Worm plus a bunch of spell damage coming to your face.
I feel like this is going to be quite a long game because Druid games tend to be kind of long anyways, and then this Tempo Mage has the tome, the Kabbalist tome, and that usually means like that it's going to be a long game.
Sure.
Slowly chip away, take down these mirror images so he can actually get to the face. Just play on curve here and always dealing with each other's minions. We know how crazy both sides can grow their board.
Right, yeah. What? Looks like he's contemplating Emperor Thorson here.
Right, I totally agree with that. I feel like he shouldn't play Yogg anytime soon. He's going to keep that and just keep feeding the Yogg. Cheapen his spells. Raven Idol is going to be free, and it's going to be really nice with the Fandral later on.
Yeah, it's so great getting to discover a minion and a spell.
I'm just really excited to see what comes out of Barnes.
It'd be really cool if it was a... Oh, speaking of which, Flamewaker.
Yeah, this is actually really good. The first Flamewaker out. Sees what he draws first, so he's good. Actually, he could...
Good play there.
This is great. He's probably thinking about...
Yeah, he could clear that. I mean, so he's seen a Wrath and a Swipe already. What are the chances he has a Swipe in his hand or a Wrath? So that Flamewaker could be pretty safe. But it looks like he's going to just go with the Azure Drake there. A little beefier.
Yeah, right now it's just like, I'm going to deal with your minions, you're going to deal with mine.
Yeah.
And let's see what happens from here. Oh, this is really dirty. Fandral with the Nourish.
Oh. It doesn't matter too much. I mean, next turn it is 10 mana anyways, but he does get the mana crystals, I suppose.
I'd totally do it. Fandral into Nourish. You could get the
he can
other Wrath, and then the Raven Idol, you could even get another Wrath. It's always good when your Fandral can get a lot of value.
Yeah.
Have you played a lot of Druid?
Yeah. Actually, I was fanboying this deck before it kind of hit the tournament scene because I think I saw it on Value Town, and some people were like, just talking about it and just kind of joking about it, being like, nah, this deck's not going to be good. It has Yogg in it. Are you kidding me? It's too random. And then, you know, a few weeks later, everybody was playing it in tournaments, and I was like, damn. I was full going hipster. I was like, I liked it before it was cool.
Yeah, a lot of people like to be one of the first ones to know
Yeah.
a deck that's really good. I remember, I think I was one of the first ones to know that Dragon Warrior was like an amazing
Yeah?
deck. Yeah, so long ago already. I've been playing it, I think, for 4 months or something.
Wow.
Or 3, something like that. Okay, so he has to take out this Vandal before it does any more work. We don't want to see a 10/10 Ancient of
Oh
War.
my god, that Black Knight?
Oh, it's so good against Ancient of War.
I haven't seen that card in a while, but it's going to come in handy.
You got that
for
from
sure.
Mulch, right?
Yeah.
Oh, did you see EdwardElric's face? He's like,
Mini fist bump
got
right
it.
there.
And let's just watch NookSTYLE's face right now. See how he reacts to the Black Knight. Oh. That is nuts. That is just the perfect mulch for him.
Yep.
I mean, like, otherwise, EdwardElric would have had to spend a lot of spells dealing with that Ancient of War.
So
but
hard to break through.
here's another one. Ooh. So, okay,
Oh my
for
god.
Edward, his Flamewaker has to do a lot of work now. A ton of work.
Especially considering NookSTYLE has a Savage Roar in hand that's so much burst damage next turn if this board does not shrink.
Actually, I want to talk about the Druid again. There's so many types of, like, token Druids. Like, there's some with Malagos, with the Moonfires. That's pretty good. And I know that there's some Druids without teachers, and then they play Double War, Ancient of War, and Moonglade Portals. What do you think about Moonglade Portals? Have you tried them?
I haven't tried it too extensively, but I've been hearing good things about it from people who have been playing it. I mean, 6 mana minions are pretty damn good overall.
Yeah, there's actually, I think there's only 2 that are just actually bad. Like Moat Lurker. I forgot the other one. Yeah, when I got Moat Lurker one time, and I was like, I think this card was made to make Moonglade Portal not so OP. And we can see that EdwardElric has these spells to deal with this. So his Flamewaker is going to go ahead and do a lot of work.
Yeah. That
But
Dragon
the egg
is kind of annoying, actually.
I know. But his Arcane Missiles are just really cheap right now.
Yeah, that's great. He's going to be able to fire off all these and potentially clear the whole board, actually.
Oh, then another dragon. So NookSTYLE's not really happy with this. He's not even looking at the screen right now. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to see anything. But he does have the Yogg waiting. But how many? I didn't really count. At least he's made at least like 8 spells at this, right? More or less.
I think the sweet spot is 7 spells. Once you've played 7 spells, you have a 51% chance of clearing your opponent's board.
And it's always nice to play Yogg when your opponent has minions. I don't really like dropping Yogg when there's nothing on the board.
Yeah, it's
It's not so great.
it's more of a comeback tool than it is when you're ahead or when it's even.
Would you play Yogg on this turn if you were NookSTYLE?
I mean, what else can you really do, right?
It's not the power of the wild's not going to do anything here.
Here we go.
Let's get your popcorns ready, guys.
Not bad. Pretty decent start here.
Cleave.
Ooh.
Kills 1 minion with a cleave.
Be nice to be able to see what that secret is, actually.
Wall of Spiders.
That's good.
Oh, it's execute on the Flamewaker.
Yeah, this is going really well. Full board clear
Clears
here.
the whole board. This is nuts.
Oh, man.
My gosh. He's got a portal. Oh, he just keeps on summoning minions.
Wow, what a turnaround. That was insane. And this is why people play Yogg, guys.
That is a nice board also to use Savage Roar and Power of the
Yep.
Wild. That's just a ton of damage. Now Edward needs to... Oh, actually, that's pretty much it, isn't it?
It very much is.
And this is exactly why Yogg is... Sometimes people hate him, and sometimes people love him.
Edward's just hoping that there's no Power of the Wild here.
That was just a crazy turn of events. I mean, we just saw NookSTYLE looking really disappointed.
Yeah,
And
right.
then now he's like in a very comfortable position.
Just a roller coaster of emotions here for both players. And there we go. The Savage Roar gets thrown out.
Yep, that's going to be enough damage. And
Yeah.
he's got a ton. Let's just go for the BM. Show how much damage you have.
Yeah, just go for it.
This
I
is
think it was more
crazy.
like Nook didn't want to count. He's like, I'm just to make sure I'm going to throw out all. I'm pretty sure this is enough.
Yeah.
And here we go.
I'm pretty sure that's lethal.
Oh man, my boy
Nailed
EdwardElric
it.
is down. He only has one more life.
Oh, he's just chuckling. Like, yes, thank you, Yog. Praise, Yog.
Well done. And now NookSTYLE is just down to his traditional zoo deck here. And Edward has
Right.
to try and make a comeback with his Tempo Mage and his Aggro Shaman. Still doable, very doable. But there's like a psychological thing there where when you're down to your last life and you're like, oh, I have to make this count. If I lose here, I go down to the lower bracket, and that's just a lot more games you have to play throughout the day. It's just a lot more exhaustion in general.
Anything can happen though. Like I've seen people who like just need one more deck to win with, but
Yeah.
then all of a sudden like their opponent just like sweeps them. Like
Yeah.
they call it a backward sweep.
A reverse sweep,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, sorry. Reverse sweep. Still learning. Don't sap me.
Yeah, I mean, it happens all the time in Hearthstone where people are literally up like 2-0 or even 3-0 in a
Right.
in a best of 7, and your opponent just turns it on somehow.
Turns it on. Nice choice of words. Well, you know, with Hearthstone, anything can happen, and especially with the Yogg, he just clearly just.
Yeah.
Oh wow, his board just grew. There was like no clears, like no twisting nether, no doom. It was just like it just worked out perfectly for him. Just only cleared his opponent's board.
Yeah, I mean that Fandral Raven Idol earlier gave him really good cards actually, the Savage Roar and that Dragon Egg.
Right.
It actually mitigated a lot of the Flame Waker's fire pings.
It's just really funny, the dragon egg. Just like it kept spawning little dragons.
Yeah, well, like the first kind of token druid variant that we had, like maybe like a year and a half ago, had dragon eggs in it. Not with this is before Yogg and stuff, but
I always thought that was the aggro druid.
yeah,
Like
I
with
guess it
the
is.
Nerubian egg and then the
Yeah,
dragon
that's
egg.
right.
Yeah.
you just have a lot of buffing cards for those minions.
Hearthstone in the old days.
Mm.
I was a secret pally player.
Well, back when the Ancient of Lore still drew 2 cards, you could just
I
dump your
know.
hand and then be like, oh, get the draw cards plus have a 5/5 on the field.
Rip.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen anymore. Feels
No.
bad, man. But
Fortunately for us. No.
we got great new cards actually, and I feel like the meta is still not. It's not really solid yet. Like people
No.
are still discovering things.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, people are still trying new things out, like, I think, like at the beginning of most expansions, people just played the old decks, but they put a few new cards in. But I don't think enough people have really tried to make just completely new deck archetypes, and that just takes a long time, to develop a whole new deck concept, stuff like that.
It takes a lot of work actually thinking of like creative decks.
Mm.
Sometimes people just sit back and relax and wait for the pros to come up with the new
Right. Pretty much. Just refreshing the net deck websites, like, come on, something new.
So this is game number 4, and we're gonna see EdwardElric's Shaman.
Yeah,
Shaman, and versus the zoo, right? Yeah,
that's right.
the normal zoo. Nook's zoo. It's kind of funny now. We have to say like normal zoo, or just maybe just say
Just
zoo.
zoo, yeah, and then discard zoo.
Zoo and discard zoo. Got it.
Edward's actually running 2 ancestral knowledges in his aggro shaman.
Quite old school, actually. It's like the older
Yeah,
aggro shaman.
we'll see if it works out for him this time around, because I'm not too sure of that card choice. I mean, I'm sure he has a reason for it. Might be good in certain matchups. Something. Maybe he wants to try and keep up in the card draw with maybe classes like Warlock.
Yeah, unfortunately, NookSTYLE didn't really have anything except for the abusive to put out. But
Nah.
Edward's Argent Squire could just easily take out the abusive Sergeant.
Perfect draw there. Gets the Totem Golem on turn 2.
He's gonna coin out the Imp Gang boss. So he has something that just won't die instantly to the Totem Golem.
Little does he know that the Flame Tongue is in the hand and will allow the Totem Golem to clear the boss, and Imp will pop out.
Yeah, I don't... Okay, so he does decide to trade into it, making sure that NookSTYLE doesn't have any minions on his board.
Yeah, I mean, like Abusive Sergeant or something, or Power Overwhelming would easily clear some of his minions. You just don't want to have that on the field.
Right.
Might as well get, sack that 1/1 and, pretty much ensure that your Flame Tongue stays alive.
Because in the end of the day, it is a 1/1.
Yeah, exactly.
And, like, he does value his Flame Tongue Totem a lot. He wants value for it.
Yep. Dark Peddler. He's going to discover a card here. Hopefully something useful. Ooh. Goldshire Footman probably indicates that the other 2 cards weren't that great either.
Yeah, that's not the best choice, but... And, of course, we got the Tusker, which can high roll here, or maybe not. We'll see. Huh?
That's not bad, but I guess it doesn't really get the...
All is fair in this world. For now.
Well, actually, it's pretty good now that he does decide to clear the Peddler.
Yeah, and actually the healing totem is doing work. It's actually healing his minions.
Yeah.
But if that actually became a totem golem,
Well,
that's kind of...
That's always just better, right?
Yeah. That's pretty much like a 6/6 Tusker.
Right, 3 mana 6/6.
Right?
Without overload as well.
And then 4 mana 7/7.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's actually... NookSTYLE's thinking about, should I play my Forbidden Ritual now?
But with the healing totem on the field, it's just all going to get cleared and healed back up. It's a little hard. Maybe he's considering Knife Juggler into Forbidden Ritual. That's only 2 juggles, and it's pretty low chance that he hits, that he kills anything with that. But
yeah, it was a very, very awkward turn for NookSTYLE. Like, you're right. The Forbidden Ritual would have just, like, died there. Plus, with... Oh, yeah, and the Doomhammer on curve.
Yeah, he's going to be able to clear both those minions. And now he's going to get all of his minions on board to swing to face. Massive turn here for EdwardElric.
Yeah. This is actually, like, I think it's actually more favored towards the Shaman. Because, I mean, even if, Edward doesn't have his clear right now, but if he did, it would just destroy a Forbidden Ritual.
Right. Drawing the Doomguard there, he has exactly 5 mana to play it, but is it worth
discarding 2 cards?
Yeah, and he's only going to be able to clear 1 minion on the board with it. I mean, what's the alternative? He taps and hopes for something better, but yeah, he's just going to go for it here. Takes a little risk.
Oh. Would you just ignore this Doomguard? Or you can just go face. Yeah.
Yeah, you go face. You have Doomhammer already equipped. You're going to be swinging for so much.
Right.
If you draw something like a Rock Biter, it's game over, even if he clears the whole board.
This makes it so that, like, he can't, like, if he just taps, then he's most likely dead.
Yeah.
I think he's most likely dead anyways.
He's definitely dead now. I think NookSTYLE's just thinking it through. Is there any way for him to stay alive here? He's going to tap.
This is actually a very close battle between these 2
Yeah.
guys. NookSTYLE definitely showing that, he can, he's a player that can show that he's got some skill.
Yeah, definitely putting up a good fight against a little bit more established player. And
so we are actually at 2-2.
yeah, it's going to be the final match here. It's going to be the Temple Mage versus the Zoolock here. Edward looks like he's got a little cheeky smile on his face. He's feeling pretty good.
So yeah, it was actually the 5th match. Yeah, this is crazy when matches go up to the 5th match. It's like so close.
Yeah, either player, the pressure's on, especially on a big stage like this in front of, the local crowd. It's totally different from playing at home on ladder or whatever. It's just every game just takes so much more mental energy to get through.
Yeah, I know the feeling. One time I was playing Hearthstone on a stream where like thousands of people are watching me, I made some misplays. And it's just a lot of pressure. Just
Right.
People are judging every single move that you make. It's tough, guys. You need to try it to fully understand what it's like.
Sure.
Have you been in any tournaments yourself?
In Hearthstone,
Mm-hmm.
I played some fireside gatherings
Mhm.
in Australia. Those are really fun though. Everyone just has a few beers. Just it's super relaxed. It's nothing like this. So I can't really compare. I did play some open bracket IEMs in StarCraft,
Uh-huh.
and that was actually kind of nerve-wracking because I'd have like really famous players sitting next to me in the open bracket, and like they'd look at my screen. I'm like, oh my god, they're judging my play. They're judging my play.
His APM is so low.
Pretty much.
I liked when you told TJ you played at a fireside. He was like, "Wow, a fireside boy in the flesh."
They're really fun. Like everyone's super friendly. You just have a few drinks, play some Hearthstone. Compete in like a little casual tournament.
Uh-huh.
A lot of times there's a lot of free merchandise to be given away.
I've actually been to one in the
Yeah?
Philippines, but I wasn't playing. I just wanted to watch and just like get the whole vibe.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's definitely worth going to sometimes.
yeah, for sure. So Temple Mage against Zulok.
Yep.
Do you think either's obviously favored in any way, or do you think it's going to be pretty even here?
With my experience, I feel like the Tempo Mage has maybe a slight advantage, but I feel like I think it's pretty much kind of 50-50. But
Yeah. If you have like the Flame Waker and a lot of cheap spells lined up to kind of crush your opponent's board in that like turn 5,
Yeah.
4, 5, 6 area, I think the Tempo Mage can really swing it in their favor. But if you don't have that and the Zulok just is allowed to just keep growing their board, it's pretty hard for the Tempo Mage to come back.
that's true. And since we know EdwardElric's Tempo Mage, he doesn't run Flame Strike, right?
No.
So yeah, with his Tempo Mage build, it might be not. It's like slightly less, I guess. Favorable.
Yeah, like he has to definitely have a board advantage before that
Right.
the 7 mana area.
And then he has the Tome, which is a slow card against
Right.
Zoo.
And he has it in hand already, so that's not a good start at all.
So yeah, I think EdwardElric's Tempo Mage build is going to have a little bit of a hard time against the Zoo. But we'll see. It's a great start for NookSTYLE. You have the turn 1, turn 2, definitely on curve here. And then the Imp Gang boss to follow in turn 3. But he's going to have to chip away at these mirror images first.
Yeah, nice move by Elric to just throw those in between his opponent's minions and whatever he was going to throw out. He already had the Loot Hoarder in hand, so he knew he wanted to protect that against those cheaper 1/1 minions. You definitely want to trade upwards with these minions that he has, but Mortal Coil from the Dark Peddler gets rid of that.
Actually, that's actually kind of surprising that he chose to take that path instead of dropping his Imp Gang.
Yeah.
And I guess he's just going to hold on to the Abusive Sergeant. It doesn't get any value here. And it most likely just dies to Arcane Missiles. But he's thinking about it for that extra board presence, possibly. He's counting something over there. So we didn't actually see EdwardElric play his Barnes yet, have we?
No, not yet.
So yeah, we did.
It does tend to draw out some pretty good minions though, because a lot of your guys have spell power or card draw, things like that. Flame Waker obviously great.
And I like that Edward is choosing to take out some of the like he chose the Peddler because it's got like 2 HP health, whereas the Arcane Missiles could deal with these 1/1s later with the Flame Waker.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Man, things are looking really good for NookSTYLE here.
Right.
Turn 4, he has 4 minions on the board. If your opponent plays Barnes, what is it going to be?
Oh, it's the Flame Waker.
Oh, and he has coin plus Arcane Missile, so this could be pretty good as long as it avoids the Imp Gang boss here.
Wow. Oh, hits the Imp Gang. Let's see where these missiles go.
These are pretty good. If he gets the 1/1s, that would be really good.
That's not what Edward wants.
Ah.
Oh!
Man, That started off really good, but
You're right.
Imp Gang Boss gets maximum value.
And he's holding on to his Dire Wolf here. Yes. So he's going to get rid of this Barnes.
But that Barn spawning the Flamework was actually the best.
Right?
The best thing that could have happened for him.
It hit the Imp Gang boss like 3 times.
I mean, that wasn't great, but yeah.
Yeah. But yes, it was a nice summon.
Ooh. Slight desperation babbling book here. Effigy not really going to help him, though.
But at least he can take out this Dire Wolf and just ping away at these little tokens.
Yep.
That's going to be 15 damage, if I'm correct, that NookSTYLE has. But he's not going to... Oh, okay, no. He's going to go for it right now. Like he knows that Yogg is possibly coming up later.
I think he also just really wanted to play the Doom Guard. He doesn't really care about throwing away the ritual. Especially he already has, you know, a board advantage.
Definitely. And he doesn't want to get rid of his... throw away the Power Overwhelming, so might as well just use it.
Man, this could be it. It's so close to the end for Edward here.
Right, and all he can do here is just get rid of the Doom Guard.
Yeah.
Save 5 damage to his face. So that's 3 damage. Tap to see what NookSTYLE can get. Can he finish Edward right here, right? No, he got it!
And there it is. NookSTYLE's the local...
He did get it.
Yeah, the local open bracket player defeats the well-established EdwardElric. He goes down to the lower bracket here. Still has a chance, though.
Yep.
I'll still be cheering for him.
Oh, that's right, your draft is out.
Yeah, no.
Well, not out, but yes, in the lower bracket. So
yeah.
Good luck to Edward down there, and super congratulations to NookSTYLE.
Yeah.
Slowly making his way up there. Thai player.